Good afternoon. What a beautiful day to have an event like this that has been such a long, long time coming. The difficult task of recognizing and welcoming some of our friends here today has fallen to me. It's unenviable because it's inevitable that I will leave people out, and for that I will apologize in advance. Nevertheless, I would like to recognize some of our friends here today. First and foremost, let me, as I stand in front of this beautiful edifice, let me recognize our architects. Scott Collins is out there and Kevin Olmers. Thank you for being here. This is a fantastic facility. I want to also recognize the folks from the Parks Commission, John Jabali, who has just left the chairmanship of the Parks Commission actually Monday and will be succeeded by Mr. Roger Malfetti. John and Roger, thank you for being here with us today. Of course, this is not possible without our staff, including City Manager Drew Griffin, Chuck Polk, and Darlene Buchanan. Both Chuck and Darlene I've seen around here. They've done a fantastic job and will operate this facility, and we're very, very proud of them, of course. I also want to recognize members of City Council who are here today. I think I've seen just about everybody here. A particular thanks to Councilwoman Teresa Ervin, who's up front, and Councilwoman Pat Gibson-Hye Moore, who just constantly and incessantly harassed me every single day of my life until we could get this done, Teresa. And that's right. Thank you for that, and thank you to members of council. And of course, we have with us, I've seen Haig and Mr. Swink and Dr. Floyd. I think Bradley Callicott's here as well, and I'm sure others from the Drs. Bruce and Lee Foundation. Without their generosity, neither this facility nor so many others in this community would be possible, and we want to thank you for that so much. And of course, I want to recognize the lady in whose name this facility is recognized, the indomitable Pearl Moore. I'd now like to recognize my dear friend and just a pillar of this community, Dr. Fred Carter. Before I do that, I want to tell you a story. And let me tell you about friendship and what Dr. Carter means to this community. It was about 3/4 of the way through the design of this facility when Drew and Chuck and Darlene and Scott and Kevin had been working on the design, and Drew came to me one afternoon with the design of the building, 3 courts, and it was a nice building, but it just didn't have the impact that a facility like this really needed to have. It was a metal facade, fine metal, but just didn't have the impact that you really wanted. And I looked at it and I said, Drew, we need something more. This needs to look better than this. And Drew said, well, this is the money we have. You can get rid of 1 court and make it look nicer on the exterior, or you can. I said, no, we've got to have 3 courts. And he said, well, I don't know what we'll do. So we talked about it for a while, and Drew left. And the next morning, I do what I do when I'm in a jam. I called Fred Carter. And I said, Fred, we got to figure this out. And then Fred said what he always says when either one of us is in the jam, let's go see Eddie Floyd. And sure enough, between those friendships and those just great pillars of this community, they contributed additional monies to make this facility look the way it needs to look and to be the kind of quality facility that we've become accustomed to in this community. Thank you, Dr. Carter. Thank you, Haig and Dr. Floyd. And with that, I introduce to you my friend, Dr. Fred Carter.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, City Council, for making today possible. And thank you, Drs. Bruce and Lee Foundation and your board members for making this building as attractive as it is today. It is terrific. You know, Mayor Wukela provided the vision for this building early on, just as Mayor Wukela has provided the vision for the development of this community all along. And I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that no matter where I go in this state, I hear great things about my mayor. People look at me and say, "Do you know Wukela?" And I say, "Yeah, I kind of know him, but we're different political parties." Yeah, if you believe that, you'll believe anything. I'm deeply appreciative to be able to speak to you briefly today about three topics that always make me smile: Wilson High School, Francis Marion University, and Pearl Moore. And link them all together. So, as we all know, Pearl is a native daughter of Florence. She attended Wilson. She played basketball, and she played basketball at a time when basketball was the only sport at Wilson that was open to women. She set the school scoring record, and she became a three-time MVP during her years at Wilson. Three-time MVP, which means from the first year she stepped on the court, she was vying for stardom. And that became Wilson her launching pad, just as it's become the launching pad for men and women all over this state and all over this country to pursue great opportunities. Then Pearl came to Francis Marion. She was a four-time All-American. Now I want to stop there. Those of you who aren't accustomed to athletics probably have no idea what that means. To be an All-American, you've got to be an All-Conference. And then, once you're an All-Conference, you get sifted up at the national level. So maybe, Coach, 24 people in the country get considered seriously for All-American status. One more time, Pearl was a four-time All-American. And something that everybody here, I hope, knows, while she was there, she broke the all-time women's collegiate scoring record with 4,061 points during an era when there were no three-point shots. By the way, that record, that collegiate record, still stands today, almost 4 decades after she scored her last point. She played professionally for 3 years, including an all-star season with the St. Louis Streak in the early 80s, and she is now enshrined in no less than 5 halls of fame: the Wilson Hall of Fame, the Florence Athletic Hall of Fame, the South Carolina Athletic Hall of Fame, the Francis Marion Athletic Hall of Fame, and the big one, the National Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. She's a recipient of the Order of the Palmetto, and she holds the Doctor of Humanities degree from her own alma mater, the highest degree we award. Of course, just as important as all of these accomplishments is the story of Pearl since she left basketball. You see, she has mentored thousands of aspiring basketball players in the community camps that she holds throughout this area. She's also counseled and advised hundreds of young men and women on life's lessons of the importance of balancing sports with academics, with responsibility to family, friends, and community. So you see, in one sense, we're here today to dedicate a building based upon Pearl's legendary accomplishments. That is what she has done. But in a much broader sense, this building will bear her name because of who she is. One of the most unassuming, gracious, generous, and talented people that Florence has ever produced. Congratulations, Pearl.
Thank you, Dr. Carter, and congratulations, Pearl. Next, I would like to recognize my dear friend and just a steam driver of a councilwoman who gets things done every day, Councilwoman Teresa Myers Ervin. Councilwoman Ervin.
Good afternoon. First, I have to say that I'm a little tired today. We have illness in our family, so I think since yesterday morning to today, I might have gotten 2 hours of sleep. So forgive me if I don't have the regular energy I used to have. But you know, this day is such a special day. I listened as the mayor spoke about how this building came to being. I listened to Dr. Carter as he spoke about the individual who this building will be named after. And I would like to say, when I first came upon council, one of the first things that I was approached by was community members, and just to name a few, Danny Ellaby, also Carlos Washington, and also Spencer Scott, among a few others who kept saying, Teresa, we need a gymnasium for the young people who are playing basketball. We don't have a home in Florence. When I listened to them, I started to talk with our city manager, but most of all to our mayor and to the city council when we went through the budget period. The first time we sought to do this, it did not pass. Myself, the mayor, and Octavia William Blake was on council at that time. We were the three who voted for this project to take place. But you know, that time it did not. But I don't believe in giving up. So we pressed on. Then the opportunity to build a medical center came to Florence. And that came through Francis Marion University. But you know what? Being a graduate of Francis Marion University and a nurse, one thing I learned that you learn how to negotiate to get what you want. So much as I love medicine, I believe we needed that here. I also knew we still needed this center. So for me to support that, I needed the support of the council to have this building. So being the council that we are now, we work together to meet the needs, not only to bring a medical school here that will service young people from this area, as well as throughout the nation. We voted to also build this facility. So I would like to thank the council members, past and present, who supported this building to be. I believe that it's an important thing for our young people to have a place they can call home for basketball. When I look at the history of Florence, we have buildings to serve for tennis, an area for pickleball, an area for softball, an area for baseball, even different places for volleyball. But the young people who played basketball had to bounce from here to there and to the school system. And even the school system started to close their door to the service for our young people. So, for this council, I thank you for finally giving all of our sports a home. To Ms. Moore, thank you for what you did, this is a statue for women. When I look at this here, I just don't see the city of Florence. I see women who pushed to make this happen, and the first building in Florence, South Carolina to be male for a female, and I think that deserves a hand in itself. And I think Dr. Carter, he scored big time. He's got a medical school named after him and a gymnasium named after one of his students. So that is progress too. So once again, for me, this is just something very exciting. And I would be remiss if not to say that we have a lot of teams that's gonna play here. I think we've already outgrown the building already. But I will also see that I see some of the Wildcats representative out there. That's one of our first semi-pro basketball player teams that we're gonna have here that's gonna be serving or utilizing this building as its home. So congratulations to the city of Florence. We are moving forward, we are making progress, not only educationally growing so that people can come here, we are making national news, y'all, national. And so once again, thank you to the mayor, to Dr. Carter, to the foundation, to the city staff, to any and everyone who ever said we needed this. Because it's because of the voices who pushed us, did not let us sit down, that this building is happening. Not because of a few, but for everyone who said, y'all need to do this. You need to find a way. And Mayor, you know, what you always tell me, he always tell me, Teresa, you tell me what to do. And I used to tell him, no, I don't tell you, I suggest to you what to do. And so, Mayor, Thank you for listening to my suggestion. Thank you for doing the legwork to help make this possible today. I truly appreciate it. And to Florence, congratulations. And to Ms. Moore, congratulations on all that you've done. Now you will serve as a shining building here to show every young lady that all things are possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Councilwoman alluded to the fact that we have a fantastic city council that trusts each other, that compromises with each other, that works together very, very closely. In reality, each member brings a little bit something different. Some are more pragmatic, some diligence, some fiscal prudence, Buddy Brand. Or is it? If there is a word that describes what this next speaker brings to the council, it is passion. And with that, I introduce my good friend, Councilwoman Pat Gibson-Hye Moore.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is such a pleasure to be standing here today to this state-of-the-art gymnasium that the city finally has in place. We waited a long time. While Councilwoman Ervin and other council members, before I became a council member, was working on the gymnasium in the council chambers, I was working on the gymnasium outside in the streets. I met with Dr. Carter and others, and we talked about a gym, even had a conceptual drawing that helped get things moving a little more. I am proud today because not only do we have a state-of-the-art building, it's named for a woman. It's named for a woman that deserves the credit for all the accolades that she has put forth. It's named for a minority woman, an African-American woman. But I'm even more proud to say that anything else, that woman is my sister-in-law, Pearl Moore. And Pearl is the type where she doesn't ask you, what do you want to do? She kind of calls you and tells you, you have to do this, you have to do that. But because of that, it took her where she is right now, sitting right there in the front row, being honored. It's such an honor to see that name on the inside of that building, Pearl Moore, because she worked hard. And her family also worked hard to help her. They went through a lot of trials and tribulations while she was in school. Money, it costs. And it wasn't easy for her, but she still accomplished the goal. She went to college and she excelled in basketball. Her jersey sits now in the Francis Marion Gymnasium, retired. She's the only female I know that scored 60 points in a game without three-point shots. So Pearl, congratulations, and I love you. And she's now become like the matriarch of her family. I always tell her that, because after her mother passed, she kind of just took over. When things need to be done, she makes sure all of her brothers and sisters get together and do what's needed. And still, she takes time for her community and her coworkers. So again, congratulations to you. We appreciate you. We love you. And Wildcats, I expect that you being our first semi-pro team to play in this building, that we will honorably grace your presence. So thank you for everything that you're also doing for Florence. And to all, make it a good day. Not have a good day, but let's make it a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Obviously, this building represents an enormous amount for this community. It represents, as we've said, the cooperation between our council, with the cooperation between our council and other entities like Francis Marion and the Bruce and Lee Foundation, the movement of this community forward. But it certainly represents the success of one of our own. and the honoring of a black female fantastic basketball star and how appropriate that is. But perhaps most importantly, what this facility represents is the hundreds and thousands of young people that will play here, enjoy sport, enjoy fellowship, and grow as individuals. And I can't imagine anyone who can speak more eloquently to that point than Ms. Dee Lyde, President of the City of Florence Basketball League. Dee.
I am here on behalf of FYBL. We would like to say thank you, Mayor Wukela, our City Councilwoman Blake, City Councilwoman Ervin, our City Councilman Moore was not a council member at the time, but she has put in countless hours to support us. You all never let our vision die. Mr. Chuck and Drew, countless hours. Darlene, countless hours. We really appreciate everyone who has been backing Florence Youth Basketball League this far. So on behalf of Florence Youth Basketball League, we just ask that you continue to support us, continue to support the future of Pearl Memorial Gym, because we see it doing big things for the city of Florence. Thank you, guys.
That brings this ceremony to a conclusion. It's now time for the opening of the facility. And Mr. Griffin, what is the direction?
Those individuals that spoke are members of the Planning Commission and certainly Pearl. If they would go up to the doors and invite everybody in.
Please join us.
Okay.
For me, I think it was just playing the game that I love, playing basketball, finishing my degree there, and being able to do things with the school and being able to call back and, like, if I call Mike, Hawkins Mike, I need this for something else that somebody was trying to inquire from me, I know he would have it. Talking to Dr. Carter and his wife Molly at games when I get a chance to get there. It's just the thing that being able to have played there with all of the accolades and everything, and be able to call back when I need something. All the camaraderie I had there, I'm still feeling it because we all do stuff sometimes. And I don't know, I'm just amazed, just amazed. The degree. We talk about basketball, but the degree is the best thing. Maybe other people view me differently than I view what I did at Francis Marion as far as athletics. It was a game that I love, and you can't take it away from me because you did what you did. Even though some of the things that I did there would eventually be overrun by other players and whatever, it's just that I enjoyed every minute I was there. For me, having basketball camps and have to borrow gyms and that stuff, you know that this place is here. And God, for it to even have my name on it, I'm just catching what you're saying. For my name to even be up there is something I would have never dreamt of when I first started dribbling a basketball. And being my mom and dad can't be here to see this day. It's an amazing feat, even to try to think about my name up in lights, so to speak. I just want to thank everybody, like I said, down at the university, was college, now university, for everything that they've done for me during my years there, and still yet to this day.